which was no, milk. Still rolling. Sound span. Cut. Carrie starting. Hi, I'm Kit.
And I'm Cade.
And we're real people.
Doing real reviews.
Today we are reviewing Milk and Cereal. Cereal spelt like serial killer. And sure is. And it was an $800 film that landed at number 7 on top horror movies for 2024 on Variety. So pretty great. We took a look at kind of the metrics of this film because of the low budget. It gives like a Blair Witch kind of feel. And it was created by two gentlemen who already own a YouTube channel and had created and done short films and short stories. And this was kind of them doing a feature film. Full cost of the film was $800, which I guess was the cost of the camera and hiring one actor, and then they sold the camera after for a profit. So that's kind of funny. We
also too, if you would like to watch this film,
yeah,
it is on YouTube.
Sure is.
Free of charge.
Yep.
Download, watch it on an airplane. Go for it.
Yep. If you want.
An hour. An hour of your time.
It is. Yeah, it's shorter film. It was interesting because I think about last year there was another film that came out that was also somebody who had a YouTube channel where they used to tell nostalgic scary movies, and that film was called Skinamarink, and it was a massive success. And actually that producer is doing an A24 film this year, and so something to be said about people who have gotten some practice on the way that they do their storytelling and creating it into a feature film for us to enjoy. So we were excited to watch this today. And on YouTube.
Also too, just for like low budget and everything, kudos to the guys that created this. And yeah. I mean, like, it's a pretty big feat.
Yeah,
to even create a feature film. So
yeah.
Also too, great that it made the number 7 in the top 13 of 2024.
Think of how many horror movies are made in a year, and this was like in the top 10. Like that's pretty. Like there are that tens of thousands of horror movies that are made every year, and we're reviewing it because it made the top 10 on Variety. Like that's like guys, like that's pretty great. That's awesome. So love that. And I kept saying, kind of during the film, I was like, God, this is good writing. Like that is a good line. Like it's too bad they didn't have more budget so we could really go there, with the scene. And now the film is meant to be through the lens of a home recording. So it's on purpose that the lens is kind of like somebody recording on their phone or at a camera that they use on a YouTube channel. So there wouldn't be perfect lighting, there wouldn't be perfect sets, there wouldn't be perfect anything. So it eliminates you looking for that. But there was this one scene where I was like, in particular, like, gosh, I'd love to see that again in a higher budget because it was a monologue and it was like incredibly well done. The story is, and the storyline is that it is two best friends and their group, and they have a prank YouTube channel, and where they do pretty extreme pranks on each other.
So Milk and 7 are their names.
Yeah, and 7 because there was 7 Steves before, and it was like
he's number 7.
It's the 7th Steve in the lineup of. So they call him 7, which is funny. Milk. Does that get explained? I don't think it got explained.
I think it did early on. It's because he likes milk, and his refrigerator had 2 gallons of milk in it.
Look at all this milk.
He drinks milk.
Yeah, he was also very, very fair. So maybe that was why too.
Oh. I think that's probably too far.
No.
Easy. He just liked milk.
He just like they were like, that's rice milk. No, that's whole milk. Yeah, no, right. That was mentioned.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, we kind of are starting the film, and it's like they're getting ready for a prank on his birthday.
Like birthday.
Yeah, and so they're like, we're gonna 7's birthday, and
no, it's Milk's birthday.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, and and so I'm like, sorry, let me get it together here, guys. And so we started, and they had developed this prank where they were going to use a squib, and a stranger was going to come to the party, shoot their friend. They're going to react, and then they were going to say happy birthday with the cake and be like, ha.
And they get milk. Yeah.
Yeah. So they do that. That happens. And then we find out that there is another sub story and another thing where Milk had kind of put together like a weird, creepy person that was going to swing by the party. That was like the neighbor that was then going to come and act like they needed, like, was very lonely and needed support, and that they were going to go to his house and they were going to end up in an extreme, because their pranks are extreme, end up in the desert, and they were like gonna pretend to shoot this person that like brings them out to the desert after bringing to their house after like pleading in case that he's lonely and needed, support, and that was going to be the other prank.
Yeah.
And it all goes wrong.
Yeah, and so it keeps unfolding. So the first prank, Steve's comes off. They you think that they got Milk, but as Kit said, they Milk has that underlying prank to get Steve back the other way.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of unravels from there, where you realize that he's not well.
No, he's quite sinister.
Yes.
And that he actually is
a serial killer.
A serial killer, but it's kind of like being hidden in amongst like being so public facing. And it looks like not only does he do YouTube and pranks with his friend, but there's an alternative, maybe dark web place where he is filming and showcasing himself murdering and killing other people and filming it online.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And we see dialogue kind of mingle in between. So, for instance, one of the people that he kills is the girlfriend of one of the gals that's in their friend group. And so the day after the party, they get this text. Like, the friend shows up and she's so sad. She's like, I kept broken up with via text message, and then she blocked me. Like, I can't even talk to her. I was so sad about it. And we find out that, oh, that's because actually he had murdered her the night before and sent the text message himself from her phone. And so seeing him comfort her and be like, oh, she wasn't even that special, like blah, 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 is, kind of showcasing how sinister he is and how much he can just very bull-faced lie to his friends. So yeah, it was really interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to work it through. I'm like, the more I think about it, I'm like, oh, such a good kind of storyline through the film. I think the part that I struggle with is because it is from that
third-party camera, shaky camera.
Yeah, the handheld kind of like camera where things are out of focus and that sort of positioning.
Or they're hiding the camera because it's a prank, so it's like stuff's
it's like sitting somewhere. I don't do well with that. I'm just like, not for me. But
yeah, it brings us out of the story, but also with this, it does make sense because it's part of the dialogue of a storyline that this is how they operate their life. They are YouTube people. They do a prank channel. So you're like, well, this is...
There's cutting it down into that. Yeah. I think he does a really good job of being crazy.
Oh my gosh. The acting in this little $800... Yes, I mean, he does some like models where he's just talking to the setup of the camera of like, and this is how I'm going to kill this person. This is how I'm going to do this prank. And he's kind of deadpan as he's saying things. Yeah. And it is very bizarre. It definitely is indicative of somebody who would maybe research what is the behavior of a psychopath, and that they would have some charisma and have like a friend group and have people around him that trust him and also be so extremely awful. And be able to do these horrific murders where he literally likes to murder people with a brick. And he's like talking to the brick. He's like, this is the brick that I hit people with and killed them. Yeah. I killed it with this brick. And he's just like, and you're like, what? And then he does it on camera and you're like, what?
Yeah, that was a pretty intense scene for that. I'd also have to say all the like blood scenes, pretty good for a low budget.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot.
It's a little bright. The blood color was a little... I mean, I'm good. I'm being picky. Yes, it's a lot.
I don't look at blood every day, so
I know.
I'm like, well, look, there's a red substance oozing out.
Yeah, but I think, but you're right. Like the injury was really great for not having, like a FX person and somebody with history, which is great. The music in the background, like ads, which is helpful. Like it's definitely a thought out edit and thought out storyline. I think that I would have loved to see this with a high budget, though. Like, I would have loved to see it with a proper budget. And, clips of using the handheld camera to continue the feeling of that. I love it. But there was just so many moments where, they're aging. Yeah. And it was I was like, gosh, this is so good. But it's just killing me that it's
on this camera.
Yeah, it's this camera and this setting and this backdrop, and I just wish they had, kind of had that. So, but the beauty of putting film out like that, well, it's just that people see that and then maybe they want to give them that opportunity, right? A studio may see that and then want to give them an opportunity with a budget.
Absolutely. As well as I think like the line that sticks out for me that I think was underplayed was towards the end, Milk, obviously the serial killer, says like the best way or the ultimate kill is to put everything in place so then the person kills themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like that could have been like a bit more and like sinister in that moment.
Darker.
Yeah.
Or even if he was having more enjoyment.
Like
by accomplishing that.
The cat and mouse kind of with that.
Yeah. And it also showcases like that's years and years and years of like trying to like cultivating a friendship and seeing how they work and knowing what would like break them and then creating a prank that would then, go to that place where he gets him to that place where he is and he's like to the point of the breaking point where he wants to like lose his own life and you're like, oh my gosh, like that is a long thought out psychopathic thing to do. And he even is explaining gaslighting and explaining how he's like along the way doing little things to make him question himself.
I was also thinking like why do that to him? But they kind of briefly touched on it, I guess, in the storyline where they said like everyone likes him. He's like the friend.
He's
like
the favorite.
He can't do any wrong. So like, but oddly enough, I feel like there should have been a bit more resentment throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I almost forgot. I was like, why did he pick him to die? And I was like, oh yes, they did explain that.
He said that at one point that Seven had said to Milk, like, you're not that creative. You're just not that creative.
Oh, and he locked him out of this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I, again, if you are really creative or you're like really pride yourself on, not only are you creative, but you're also spinning all these dark secret web lies in the background. You're like, I'm going to prove it to him that how creative I am. I'm going to take his, mortality. But in the end, he's caught. So he's filming himself in his ego, in his monologue, describing like, look, I did all these things. Now he's gonna be my 7th kill. And his name is Seven. Like, I didn't even think of that. Like, I'm so like, he's like, I'm so proud of myself. And Seven hears it and he shoots him. And
then shoots himself.
Does he shoot himself?
Yeah, there was 2 shots there.
Oh, I didn't take that as a suicide. He shot him and then shot himself.
Well, I'm assuming. But it didn't show.
I bet we just shot him crazy.
No, maybe. Well, that's probably what you would have done.
Because I'm not leaving. I'm good right here. Yeah, maybe that's, But he would have been, like maybe I'm going to take his because so then we're not hurting more people. Because if I leave, maybe he'll hurt more people. And maybe it could have been a suicide, right? Yeah.
I don't.
So that's but it's a question mark at the end, right? Because it could have. We literally both watched it at the same time and we're interpreting in different ways. So that's always clever. What do you think about like overall storyline?
Hard to get into it in the beginning, but then I think it kind of came together.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I think it was pretty. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened, to connect the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it was a pretty complete story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think enough was explained. I agree. It was a slow burn in the beginning. I think it also had to be a slow burn in the beginning because if it's like, well, if this really was people filming themselves, like let's say, and we're seeing it in online, that it would have been like, and this is how I set up the prank. And like, it would have been like the slow thing. And so if you're not interested in pranks, and you're also not interested in maybe this age group, right? Then you're like, all right, well, that's how they choose to spend their time, I guess. I'm going to watch this, And so, but I feel like if you were somebody who like loves YouTube, loves watching pranks, like you are maybe, in your like late teens, early 20s, and you're like, oh yeah, this is something me and my friends would do for a birthday party. And that's so cool and awesome. I think this is great. That maybe you would. I think maybe I'd look for more sophistication if it came to a prank. I think that's why we like things like murder mysteries and things that are done in era pieces and like which version of that, right? But yeah, again, I think good start to finish. Everything's answered except for maybe what happened at the end, right? And so that's good.
Yeah, as well as they took something they knew and then they kind of elevated into a feature film. Like if they, I mean, obviously they are used to filming kind of stuff on YouTube or releasing it on YouTube. And so they were like, I have this idea. So, yeah.
And they took the time to stretch it out. Yeah, I hope these are people that we get to see at film festivals pitching for feature films, because there's elements when you go to a film festival, usually there's like a market or like a business side at a film festival where industry people get to like go and be like, I've done some short films. I'm ready for my first feature film. Fund my feature film. So I'd love to see somebody they've accomplished a feature film. They made it in the top 10 without a budget. I'd love to really see them, be at like the Greenlight Forum at Cannes, which is like a genre, like, kind of, I guess, like pitch, or at Fantasia, they do one in like Quebec, or at TIFF, again, like pitching and being like, here's my idea for a movie. Like, I'd love for you to fund it. Like, this is look at where we got with no budget. Imagine like what we could do with budget. I hope I see that from filmmakers like this, that they don't just make that and they're like, yeah, that was so good. I'm so glad I made that. I made my first feature film, not just shorts and not just YouTube video, but I'd love to see them, see like actually like, can we get them theatrical? Can we see them actually like go out into the world? So I hope that for filmmakers like this, because I do think the writing was solid. They had some storyline. They used what they knew. They're using their friend groups. They're not even actors, right?
Yeah.
And it was landing. And I think they hired like this in the one actor. And so yeah, I hope that we do see more of them, because I'd love to see what they could do with more.
I'd even like to see this film kind of with a bigger budget.
Yeah.
Tighten up the story, better actors.
Yeah.
Because you could really like cut it down. Could be a cabin in the woods kind of story.
Or like, what if they actually took some people from like Mr. Beast or something and like moved it forward that way, and see like people that are like known YouTubers, known influencers, and see if that happens. I know there was an influencer movie that was made, I think last year or the year before, with 50 Cent. And I think it maybe went straight to streaming. I didn't see it, but they used influencers, and it was like they're all in this house and they're gonna make kind of like a Big Brother thing, and then they all like, died, and it was so good. But I'm like, gosh, like if they had that really good writing, which I felt like they had with this, that would have been, I think it would have landed with genre audience for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you rate it out of 10?
Oh, tough for me. Story was good. I'll rate it a 5.
Oh, a 5? You go with the shaky camera?
I mean, I probably would have rated it higher had it not been on like the, Blair Witch Project kind of running with the camera, running with a cell phone kind of thing.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay.
And because I think that there was like, obviously I'm sitting here telling you that I felt like there were some really great elements. It wasn't something that I felt like captivated me enough to scare me. I just felt like their villain was well developed. So it was one well-developed villain, but everything that surrounded that villain, I feel like needed more. But again, thought the acting and the lines and I just thought the villain was really great. I think that there was aspects that I was like, that needed more.
So trash adjacent?
Trash adjacent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, sorry guys.
But again, I hope I see them. Hope I see them on.
Yeah, I mean,
more from them.
Yeah, I think that was pretty. I mean,
I think on IMDb they got a 6.6, which is better than like a lot of studio films from last year. So like,
I mean,
way to go! That's amazing. This is, as movie critics, like this is my perspective as like a real person watching this, just being like, who watches genre films all the time and being like, this is what I need to like enjoy this more, but still like pretty great, and definitely giving them kudos.
Would also be interesting too had they like put it on a streaming set like other than YouTube, but like then got Rotten Tomatoes certified if it didn't have like a cult following associated to it. Like the mask that he wears could be very marketable.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like it could be like one of those underground kind of like,
and it may already be, like, but yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah. I'm Kit.
And I'm Cade.
And we're real people
doing real reviews.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.